You probably set up your smart home the same way most people do. You unboxed the device, downloaded the app, connected it to the Wi-Fi, and moved on with your life. Maybe it was a smart speaker, maybe a security camera, a doorbell, a thermostat, or a smart lock. It took 10 minutes, it worked, and you never thought about it again. That is the mistake. Not the device itself, not the brand, not even the password you chose. The mistake is what happens after setup. The silent, invisible window that opens the moment a smart device connects to your home network and never fully closes, and most people have no idea it exists. Right now, the average American home has more than 20 smart devices connected to its network. Cameras, speakers, bulbs, plugs, TVs, doorbells, baby monitors, robot vacuums, thermostats. Each one is a small computer. Each one is running software. And each one is a potential entry point into everything else on that same network. Your laptop, your phone, your files, and your passwords. The biggest mistake is treating your smart home like it is a collection of separate, harmless gadgets. It is not. It is a network. And once any device on that network is compromised, the attacker is not just inside that device, they are inside your home. Here is how it actually works. When you connect a smart device to your Wi-Fi, it joins the same network as your computer and your phone. By default, most home routers treat every device on that same network as trusted. That means your smart refrigerator, your smart TV, and your laptop are all talking on the same channel. If an attacker gets into one, they can potentially reach the others. Security researchers at Ben Gurion University of the Negev spent years studying this exact vulnerability. They found that smart home devices are routinely shipped with weak default passwords, outdated firmware, and unencrypted communication channels. In one experiment, they were able to compromise a smart bulb and use it as a foothold to move laterally across the home network to a laptop sitting on the same Wi-Fi. Not by hacking the bulb's brand, not by targeting any specific person, just by exploiting the trust that every home network extends to every connected device by default. This is called lateral movement. It is one of the most common techniques in both corporate and residential network attacks. You do not have to break through the front door if you can slip in through a window that nobody is watching. And there are a lot of unwatched windows in the average smart home. Think about how most smart devices are maintained. You can buy a camera, you can use it for 3 years. In those 3 years, the company that made it has released 11 firmware updates. You installed 0 of them because the app never reminded you, and the camera kept working just fine. Meanwhile, researchers discovered a vulnerability in the original firmware that lets an attacker access the camera's live feed without any credentials at all. That vulnerability was patched in Update 2. You are still running the original version. This is not hypothetical. In 2019, a family in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, discovered that someone had accessed their Nest security camera, cranked up the thermostat to 90 degrees, and spoken to them through the camera's two-way audio. The attacker was not inside Nest's system. They had not breached the company. They had found credentials from an old data breach, tried them on the Nest account, and gotten in because the family had reused a password. The device was running outdated software. Two-factor authentication was not enabled. The attacker walked right in. That story is not unusual. It is routine. Ring cameras have been accessed by strangers who spoke to children in their bedrooms. Baby monitors have been hijacked by people broadcasting audio across the internet. Smart doorbells have been used to track residents' schedules and identify when a home is empty. None of these attacks required sophisticated hacking tools. They required default passwords, old firmware, and networks with no segmentation. So what is the actual fix? What is the one thing that would close more of these vulnerabilities than almost anything else you could do? Network segmentation. Most people have never heard of it. Most home routers support it. Almost nobody uses it. Network segmentation means putting your smart home devices on a separate network from your computers and phones. Your router almost certainly has the ability to create what is called a guest network. That guest network is isolated from your main network by default. Devices on the guest network can access the internet, but they cannot communicate directly with devices on your primary network. If you move every smart device, every camera, bulb, speaker, plug, and thermostat onto the guest network, you have created a wall between your gadgets and your sensitive devices. Even if someone compromises your smart TV, they cannot reach your laptop. Even if your robot vacuum gets hacked, it cannot access the drive where your tax documents live. The lateral movement attack that researchers demonstrated at Ben Gurion stops cold at the segmentation boundaries. Setting this up takes about 15 minutes on most routers. You go into your router's settings, find the guest network option, create a separate network with its own password, and reconnect your smart devices to that network instead of your main one. Your phone and laptop stay on the primary network, your gadgets live on the guest network. They can still function, they just cannot talk to each other or to your sensitive devices. This single change closes more attack surface than any smart device firmware update you will ever do. It does not require technical expertise. It does not require a new router. It requires 15 minutes and the willingness to log into a settings page most people have never opened. There are two other things worth doing alongside segmentation. The first is changing default passwords. This sounds obvious, but most people still do not do it. Every smart device ships with a default username and password, and those defaults are publicly listed in the device's manual, which is often available as a PDF on the manufacturer's website. Attackers do not have to guess. They download the manual and try the listed credentials. Change every default password on every device the first time you set it up. Use a password that is unique to that device. The second is enabling automatic firmware updates wherever the option exists. Researchers at Princeton University's IoT security project have documented hundreds of vulnerabilities across consumer smart home devices, many of which were patched by manufacturers within weeks of discovery. The patch does nothing if you never install it. Most devices have an auto-update setting buried in their app. Find it and turn it on. None of this will make your smart home impenetrable. Security is not about perfection. It is about making yourself a harder target than the person next to you. Attackers look for the path of least resistance. A segmented network with unique passwords and updated firmware is a substantially harder target than an unsegmented network running factory defaults. You spent real money on those devices. You trusted them with your home. You gave them access to your cameras, your locks, your voice, and your routines. The least they owe you is not becoming the door that someone else walks through. And now that you know how that door opens, you also know exactly how to close it.